Hi everyone, today we are going to build all of this. Honestly, I'm really curious to see how it turns out because the brand says this could be a real alternative to building a full garage. So let's put it together and see if it actually lives up to that. The first thing that surprised me was the scale of this project. It arrived in 7 separate boxes, and every single part is made of metal and clearly labeled, which would make the assembly process a lot easier. The instruction manual is also very detailed, so at least on paper, everything looks pretty straightforward. I think the hardest part is just figuring out where to start. We're actually putting this together with a pretty big group today just to make the process faster. So it'll be interesting to see how long the full assembly really takes. So let's get started. At this stage, you can really see how the structure comes together. The metal pieces slide into each other, and then everything gets secured with bolts. And there are a lot of bolts here which honestly make the build feel more serious and solid. Everything in it is included in the kit, so as long as you follow the instructions step by step, the frame starts coming together pretty clearly. At this stage, the assembly starts with the roof structure and the arches first, and then the legs are attached to them to create the side height. So far, everything feels pretty secure. The metal pieces connect together and got bolted from multiple sides. So while we are building it, nothing feels loose or shaky. Once the roof arches and legs are together, the wall frame attaches to the lower support beams which help hold the structure in place. One thing I do like is that the arches are spaced fairly close together. There are 6 of them total, so instead of having just a few large open sections, you get more support points across the roof. That should help make the wall structure feel stronger and more stable. Once the roof was installed, the wall structure finally started looking like a complete carport. And this is when you can really appreciate its overall size. The entire assembly took us about 4 hours. We had a fairly big group helping today to spend things up. The manufacturer recommends at least 3 people for the installation, and honestly, I can't see why. This is a large structure with a lot of parts. I do think 2 people could handle it, but you should definitely plan for a full day rather than expecting it to be a quick project. One thing I really liked during the build was how everything connects together. The metal pieces slide into each other and are reinforced with bolts from multiple sides. There are a lot of connection points, and while that adds time to the assembly, it also makes the finished structure feel much more solid. Once everything was together, it felt much more like a permanent outdoor garage than just a temporary shelter. It has a large footprint, looks substantial, and doesn't feel like a lightweight, portable structure. The kit also includes ground anchors, so you can secure it to the concrete or another solid surface for even more stability. The roof panels themselves are fairly lightweight, which actually makes them easier to install. But once they're all bolted together, the roof feels much more rigid as one complete structure. The panels overlap in the direction of the water flow, so rain and melting snow should naturally run off the roof instead of getting underneath the panels. The sloped roof design should also help prevent water from sitting on top. That said, I haven't owned it long enough to tell you how it'll perform after month or heavy weather, so that's something I'll be able to evaluate over time. Inside there is a surprising amount of space. With one vehicle parked inside, there is still plenty of room to walk around, fully open the door, lower the trunk, or simply move comfortably around the vehicle. 2 vehicles will fit as well, but naturally it won't feel nearly as spacious. They'll both fit, but you'll have less room to move around compared to parking just one vehicle. Regular cars and most SUVs should fit without any issues. If you have a very tall RV or an oversized trailer, I'd recommend checking the clearance first. One thing that surprised me was the sidewalls. Based on the photos, I honestly expected rigid panels, but they're actually removable heavy-duty PE fabric sidewalls. At first, that caught me off guard, but I actually like that you can remove them during the summer for better airflow and install them again whenever you want extra protection from the weather. The kit also includes solar-powered lights. We weren't filming at night, so I can't really comment on the brightness yet, but it's definitely a nice feature to have for evening use. Overall, it feels like much more than just a place to park your vehicle. It creates a large covered outdoor space that can be used in different ways depending on your needs. And after putting everything together, I honestly think it makes the whole property look more complete and much more finished.